I hope I'm able to, structure my question over here in the proper manner. I'm not offending anyone with this. But, we have been talking about relationships, in our conversation right now. And on the main relationship which has helped keep this population of the human beings going on is marriage. And if we look at two different transitions happening, if I keep the 2000 to 2010 decade as, the threshold point, like the differentiation point before that and after that, we have seen a difference happening in the society where before 2000, there was either one gender that was suffering a lot, was quite not saying anything, not responding anything. Usually these were females, but yes, we had exceptions where males were also suffering and the females were empowering, overpowering, not empowering, but overpowering. And has been the case. But after 2010, we have seen a space where the situation is more or less the same. But yeah, the difference is where before 2000, these relationships continued, or I would say dragged to the last milestone. That's the truth of life when we all leave our soul, our body, the souls and the body departs. But today it's happening that the cases of divorces have increased, the sufferings have increased, I would say drastically, because somewhere or the other, a lot of different individuals or relations are now getting impacted because of these divorces that are happening, in the society. Though a lot of communication channels have opened up, but the communications have decreased. We usually judge by what's happening on the social media, not in the real life. So, what are your thoughts on this? And, if you can help me navigate on this, help me understand this situation better.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is so true. I'll tell you some incidents that I have also seen. There are girls who've come to me. Oh, my husband is hitting me with footwear, and he's putting his his fingers on my mouth, and really spreading it apart. I mean, very, very painful things are happening to them, and they're coming to me. And the very next day, I see a post on social media. I love you, my husband, so much. You're the best thing that happened to me. And I'm like, hello. Just yesterday you were so sad. You were in immense pain, and you still are today. I know that because she's in touch with me. But they want to show to the world that they are having a perfect life, even on social media. So it's true. See, while I feel, Pulkit, earlier people would not part ways from a marriage because of social fear or because of a sense of insecurity. If the woman parts ways with the man, how would she survive financially? Her own parents might not accept her back at home. It was considered a social stigma. She would feel lonely. So this is why in our parents' generation, their marriages actually went till the last post. That is till death. It is not necessarily because they were happy or they had a beautiful relationship. No. It's because they felt helpless. You know, they felt, okay, if we leave this relationship, we have nowhere else to go. We have a dead end. Yeah.
Mm,
And
mhm.
so you see so many relatives of yours, they pretend to be happy couples. But you know for a fact, if they are close to you, that they are not happy couples. They're constantly fighting, cribbing, and one person is dominating the other. They are just surviving. They're not living their life. Right. So it's good that now that women are more empowered because they're working, financially independent, society is also more open for them to get separated. It's good that they are having the courage to part ways. At the same time, rightly said by you, people have become probably less adaptive to adjusting, and they just want everything to be perfect, to be hunky dory, because they see others in the social media world living a very fantastic life. They see others traveling and buying stuff and this and that, and they also want to have that ideal so-called perfect relationship. And hence I believe that, of course, this is not with everybody, but with a lot of people, they've become less adaptable. They have started prioritizing their own needs and desires to such a great extent that they are not really considering the needs and desires and also the limitations of every other member in the family. Right? For sure, every individual's needs and desires have to be respected and should be fulfilled. But when you're living with someone, you know for a fact, not all your needs and desires can ever be fulfilled. You'll have to compromise on some. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think with this sense of financial independence and social acceptance has also come a reduction in the adaptability and adjustability of individuals in relationships, which is what I see in a lot of people. If they really have an honest conversation before marriage about, hey, this is what my needs and desires are, which again can happen if they're really aware of it.
Yeah.
Firstly, they're not even aware of it.
Yes.
They
Yes.
become aware of it later on, right? But if they're really aware of it, they can have a very honest conversation that this is what I can do for you and with you. This is what I would find difficult to do for you and with you.
Hmm.
This is what I cannot do for you or with you, right? Even if I want to. Because of these are my values, these are my interests, these are my beliefs, these are my limitations, whatever it is. If they really have a very clear cut conversation about it, first they'll be able to make an informed choice. They won't fall into bad relationships. I see so many people who just see how much is the person earning. Is he living with the family or alone? Is he educated? Is he partying? Is he having a good sense of style? Okay, sounds good. Let's marry. No. It's good that you want to see such things, nothing wrong with that. But what matters the most is he willing to take into consideration and fulfill your needs and desires? And are you also willing to do the same for him? Unless this is met, nothing else matters, right? Unless we align on the level of our values, on the level of our interests, on the level of our needs and desires, the core needs and desires, nothing else honestly matters. You might be extremely wealthy, you'll still have a fallout.
But Nakul, the value system, the beliefs that just mentioning, when conversations are happening before marriage, it's finalized. They're least of our worries. What is being and looked at, as you rightly mentioned out, how fat is the wallet the guy is carrying, or how beautiful the girl is. What houses or how many houses do the person have, or how many cars do you own? What sort of gifts can you give? All these things come into picture. What designation does your uncle have? What society stature does your auntie have? These are the things that are being considered.
True,
Nobody really cares about the needs and desires of the bride and the groom.
true,
Nobody talks about that, and even those two people don't talk about it. What they're looking at is, okay, just a few check boxes that are there, they have created under the influence of people. I don't know who, their friends or their parents who themselves have not had, I will not say a perfect marriage, but a marriage where communication is given importance, or where awareness is there. And it's just often being done under pressure as well. So it's a very, very, complex space to be in, but communication needs to come up. Communication needs to be the epitome.
true. And see, Pulkit, such kind of communication will only happen if people are really aware of what their core needs and desires are.
Mhm.
As I say, self awareness is the fundamental of life.
Yep.
It's fundamental of every choice, decision, action, and outcome in your life. If you really want to be successful in life, in all dimensions, health, wealth, relationships, everything, you need to have self awareness. Because only those who are self aware understand, okay, these are my needs, these are my non negotiables, these are things I can compromise with, these are things I would be happy to have, these are things it would be great if I have, right?
Yep.
But I'm also okay not to have them, right? And once they are clear about their own needs and priorities and all these things, then can they communicate? And then can they also ask the other person, hey, what are your needs? What are
Mhm.
your priorities?
Yep.
What matters to you the most? And are you sure this matters to you the most? Or are you lying to me? Are you just giving an answer for the sake of it? Because people are themselves unaware, then they go on this with this copy paste formula of finding a partner, matching the horoscopes and the wealth and the status and the position. I mean, in reality, your position does not matter, right? It's
Yep.
about how much is the person understanding you and fulfilling your needs, and vice versa. This is the only secret to a happy relationship. I'm not saying wealth does not matter, money does not matter. It surely matters, but it is not something which matters so much as these things, which are your core values and interests and belief systems and future plans for your own self. Like if a woman wants to work in her life and the man feels that what's the reason need for you to work? I'm earning money. People work to earn money. You be
Mhm.
at home and take care of kids
Mhm.
and take care of my family. If you just look at it, nobody's actually wrong. This guy feels you work to earn money. But this girl is not working to earn money. She wants a sense of identity, perhaps. She
Mhm.
wants the independence which comes with finances, earning their, or she just likes the kick of, doing something constructive and meaningful, right? But this guy is feeling, what is there? What's the kick is there? What kind of kick do you get? It's better you stay home and enjoy.
Mhm.
These two people are right. They're not wrong at their own perspectives, but they just have conflicting set of values and perspectives about it, which is why they're bound to conflict. They're bound to have, a miserable marriage, and they might even have a breakup, right?
You know, Nakul, just one point over here. I've often seen in certain scenarios, not all, but a lot of times these decisions of either of the genders having a career choice or something is out of vengeance as well or revenge as well. If there would have been a perfect scenario as per them, they would not have gone for it. But yes, now because you have done this, I'm going to do this. While I'm not ready for this, my health does not allow me to be going for this. But now, since you have done this, I will be taking that job opportunity that's, probably 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away. And then both of you are suffering, you're not happy. Why does, people don't understand that their actions are going to have consequences and then they need to be accountable for the consequences as well.
Well, it's simply because Pulkit, they do not understand this thing called ego. Again, I'm coming back to the identity, right?
Mhm.
They don't realize that in so many ways, their ego is something which is based on how others perceive them. And every person is wanting to be perceived in a particular way.
Yep.
Someone might want to be perceived as beautiful, someone successful, someone independent, someone this, someone that, right? And the way they want to be perceived is also not their own. It's
Mhm.
also a creation of their upbringing and their own surrounding,
That's
all
true.
the
That's true.
influences, right? And when the situations in life are not falling in line with the way they would like to be perceived,
Mhm.
then they get on this track. They
Yep.
want to prove to themselves and to others, I am this, I am that, and I'll do anything and everything in my power to help you realize that I am this or I am that.
Yep.
They're absolutely destroying their life. They're
Mhm.
absolutely destroying the other person's life also in so many ways. Because, of course, if you're living apart, it's difficult to have an emotional intimacy and other things also, right? But their ego takes a center stage.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
don't realize that they are not really helping themselves be happy, but they are creating misery for themselves, also the other person.
Yep.
They feel I am here because he felt that I am this, I'm not capable. He treated me this way, or she did this to me. They're wanting to prove because they're wanting to prove to themselves that I am this, what I think of myself. I am worthy, I am capable, I am competent, I'm blah, blah, blah. It's all just what you call as Maya Jal. you know, you create your own idea, your own cobwebs of who you are, and then you live your entire life trying to prove it through your own actions and through others' reactions that yes, you are that. And you might succeed in proving that, you might fail at that. In both ways, you'll be miserable.
Yep.
So it's true, it's happening everywhere. I'll tell you a very interesting incident, Pulkit. I took this session for prisoners in Central Jail a
Mhm.
couple of years back. And in one of the sessions, I asked them, how many of you are going to go out and seek revenge from the person who's responsible behind you being behind the bars? Now, I was expecting that, okay, maybe 5, 10, 15% of the people might be wanting to take a revenge. That room had close to 4 to 500 people. Okay. And interestingly, almost 85 to 90% people raised their hand that I'm going to go out and take revenge. Now, of course, not all of them were innocent. You know,
Yep.
I would understand that, oh, I was innocent and this guy framed me, so I want to take revenge. I can still understand that. But for sure, not all of them are innocent. Yeah, they're guilty, right?
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
culprits, but they still have this emotion of taking revenge. Okay. Then I ask them, what will you get out of taking a revenge? Oh, there will be justice. What sort of justice will be there? You'll harm the other person. If you get trapped, if you get caught, as the reason behind harming the other person, you'll again suffer. Or if the other person survives, if the way you intend to harm is not fatal, then the other person will come back to take revenge with you.
Yep.
You'll also experience the same harm, right? So, in essence, you're only creating more harm for your own self. So, how is that a good idea? And they said, oh, yes, it makes sense. So then I asked them, why do you think you want to harm that person? And they said, oh, because it will make us feel good within ourselves. And I said, if putting a dagger through someone's body, if doing some harm to someone else, how does that make you feel good? They said, oh, because we feel that we've went out the emotion we had within ourselves. And I said, if the fundamental is to vent out that emotion, then what's stopping you from venting it out now? Isn't it a crime to carry the same emotion within you and thus keep suffering with it for all these years till you are in jail and you really go out and harm that person and vent it out? And they said, oh, yeah, it makes sense. If we really want to be free of the emotion, then we might as well do it today. And I actually led them through a process through which they could vent out all those stored emotions. After the process, Pulkit, I asked these people again, guys, how many of you are still going to go out and take a revenge? Of course, the result was not 100% because there are always some people who would not do the process because they feel, what will this guy teach us? Only roughly, I would say, 7 to 8% people, 8 to 10% people raised their hands this time. 90% of the people, had really changed their mind of taking a revenge. You know why? Because they understood that we are gonna get nothing. We'll only suffer more, you know,
Hmm.
and we actually can vent out the emotions right now and be free from it. Because they understood it and also they did the practice to be free from it, their state of mind changed. Years of being imprisoned did not change their state of mind. One conversation, one session, one process did change their mind. And some of them did get out of the jail and message me on Facebook, sir, I'm out and I'm happy. Thank you. Because of you, I was able to sleep peacefully and my blood pressure issues got, vanished and this and that happened. With understanding comes freedom, Pulkit. This is why I say with realization comes freedom. These people realized what was wrong in their perception, in the state of mind, in their belief system, in their notion. And because they were able to shift it, everything changed. Everything shifted for them. And for so many people who would have been harmed by them, we don't even know how many people, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, hence, having this continuous practice of observing what you're experiencing within in terms of emotions, of looking at your choices and decisions, and really questioning yourself, examining yourself. Why do I think this is the best choice? How do I really think I'll be happy? Do I really know people who have achieved this, attained this, done this, and are still really happy? Do I really feel that will create a better life for me? Is this all I ever wanted from life? If they really start asking such questions to themselves, they would have immense clarity. And then they can also ask their partners and help them also to arrive, hopefully, at a logical, realization of what truly matters. Of course, the other person's receptivity is a must. Unless someone is receptive, you cannot help. Yeah. Like
Hmm.
this conversation, probably 1,000 people might be listening to it. But if you are listening to it with a sense of denial, oh, this is wrong, this cannot happen, this I'm right, then nothing can change. But if you consider my advice and start questioning your actions, your beliefs, and notions,
Hmm. Hmm.
guess what? Everything can change and everything will change for the better.
Amazing. Nicole, just one last question, before we wrap up our conversation today. It is often said that your vibe attracts your tribe. So, what are your thoughts on this in context to the relationships we have?
Whenever you sit behind or beside someone, you might have observed, that when you're sitting with some people, you feel more free, you feel more open, you feel like sharing and laughing.
Hmm.
And when you're sitting with some other people, you do not feel so open, you don't feel so comfortable, you feel restless, you feel impatient, you feel like just going out of the room, and you don't know the reason. The other person is not your ill wisher. He or she might be a well wisher,
Mm-hmm.
but you do not feel comfortable with them, right?
Yep.
So this is what we mean by vibes, the vibrations. Basically, Pulkit, whatever emotions you're harboring, in some way, they are transmitting. Now, you might say I'm talking about pseudoscience. So I'll tell you an experiment we did a couple of years back. We took these hangers, the cloth hangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we made them into a straight line.
Okay.
And then we made them into an L-shaped hanger, L-shaped. Okay.
Okay.
Then we took the smaller side, we put them on our, what should I say, in between our thumb and fingers, like in a fist.
Mm-hmm.
And we took two hangers on both the hands and held them straight. Now we were asked to think positive thoughts, just thinking positive thoughts in our own head, right? And the hangers are in our own hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as I thought positive thoughts, the hangers expanded. Wow. No, I do not know how that happened, but it does happen. You can call it electromagnetic radiation or whatever you want to put to it. The truth is the hangers expanded. And then as we thought of negative thoughts, the hangers naturally contracted. These are my hands. There's no remote control. Okay. I am holding the hanger. Then again, I'm thinking positive thoughts and they are expanding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I think negative thoughts, they are again contracting. And this happens with everyone, of course. All right. And this is no placebo effect. This is no hypnotism. None of this. It's a very simple practical experiment. Yeah. And we all realize that whenever we're thinking positive, there's a feeling of expansion. And it's not just within us, it's something which radiates outside us also. Otherwise, why would the hangers expand, right?
Yep.
A non-living thing. And whenever we're feeling emotionally insecure or depressed, sad, annoyed, all those negative emotions, there's a contraction. You see, people who are depressed want to be lonely in their own room, alone. They don't want to be with people, right? And hence the hangers also contracted. So whenever you're sitting with someone who's harboring negative emotions at that point of time in his mind, you do not feel comfortable with that person. And whenever you're sitting with a person who's harboring positive, all sorts of nice intentions and emotions in his own mind, you feel very comfortable with the person. You do not know the reason because it's a feeling. It's not something logical, it's something experiential.
Yeah.
And out of this feeling, you feel like sharing. You feel
Mm-hmm.
like meeting the person again because you want that feeling.
Yeah.
All want to feel nice and nobody wants to feel bad or negative, right? This is why they say our vibe attracts our tribe. So when you have a certain mindset, a certain feeling, those who resonate with that same thing, would like whenever they meet you, whenever they hear you, whenever they see you, they'll certainly feel a resonance and they will feel it. I'm not saying they will know it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not logical. They would feel it experientially. And when you're meeting people who do not resonate with your thought process, your belief systems, your desires, and all those things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then you and of course they would not feel a resonance.
Yep.
You would not feel like meeting them again. It must
Mm-hmm.
have happened. Like you interview so many people, Pulkit.
Yep.
As some people you feel, yeah, इससे मिलना चाहिए. I would like to meet this person more. I would
Mm-hmm.
like to talk to this person more.
Yep.
It's not that the content was great, but I just like the person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then
Yep.
there's some people you feel, I do not want to interview this person again. This person might be an expert, authority, genius, author, whatever. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like, talking more to this person or meeting or hanging out with them.
So far, it has not happened yet. Fingers crossed. Should
Yeah,
not.
yeah. I hope it does not happen. So, this is why they say, because the way we are inwardly is the way people experience us outwardly.
Yep.
It's not just about how we speak, how we react, how we behave. That is
Yeah.
certainly there. It's also about how people feel
Mm-hmm.
when they are around us,
Yes.
right? And naturally, those who resonate would like to be with us again and again. Those who do not would not. Hence,
Uh,
your vibe attracts your tribe. I mean, those people who, at least in that point of time, are desiring, wanting, thinking, feeling the same things that you are.
Nakul, thanks a lot, for unraveling some of the most complex situations out there for our listeners. And I hope it helped our listeners out there for, making their understanding more in depth. and would make some changes in their lives. And listeners, if you have any questions, please feel free to DM or put us as comments on our different channels. I'm sure Nakul would be more than happy to answer them and respond to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pulkit, for having me. I love this conversation, truly. You are a true seeker. I can feel that. The interest with which you were asking me questions and listening to my answers. And to all the listeners out there, if there is something which went a bouncer, so feel free to hit me up. I would be happy to be of service to you. And I would really feel glad if whatever wisdom, insights, and experience I have attained, achieved, or experienced in my life, if that can really help you to be more happy, more peaceful, and make a better choice, and thus have a better life. So yeah, would love to be and get in touch with all of you. Tag me in on social media at living Nakul or Nakul Agrawal. Of course, Pulkit will tag me as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to connect with each one of you.
Amazing. So, listeners, we will have all the contact details of Nakul in the descriptions on all the channels so you can reach out to him. And as I always say, we are listening. And if you have to vent out anything, this initiative where we anonymously listen to you, more than happy to, you can come and vent out whatever you're going through. Communicate. This could be the first step. And we have experts who are there to respond to that again on an anonymous front. So nobody gets to identify each other. It's completely anonymous. Feel free to, vent out. Thank you, everyone. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.